pirate day at last. Yay! Good morning, lovely people. How are you all doing today? I hope you're well. Well, yes, it is that day. Oh, I love it, I love it. It's pirate day. Arrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr just as a heads up, please excuse me throughout this video if I'm sniffing or coughing a bit. Still got this stupid annoying cold. It's just a cold, there's nothing to write home about, but it's lingering, hanky at the ready. So I think what we'll do, we'll go and do some digging up and then come back to this shed. I'm just going to chat about varieties, storage, all that. Now, the reason I'm not in the shed is because A, there's no space for me on the day bed because I've got all my lavender hanging down. So in the last couple of weeks or so, when I've been sitting in the shed chatting, I've been sitting on my little gardening stool just in front of my deck chair. That's not possible now either because let me show you. This is my gardening stool. Normally it's like that. Can you spot the deliberate mistake? Oh dear. I think this was a cheap version. One of the legs here is completely sheared off. And I wish so much there'd been people around because I couldn't stop laughing. When was it? I think it was the day I was doing the tour video. Yeah, that was the last time I was down. Actually, no, I have had one more day down here last week. I came down, I sat here, I didn't do anything. I didn't have an ounce of energy because it's stupid cold. Anyway, the day before, remember I was mentioning how as I was doing my chop and drop in that top bed, I was also doing a thorough weed of the paths, which really appalling this year. So I'd got the stool and I was parked on the central path. So I was kind of perpendicular to my plot on the stool, quite happily, sort of leaning forward towards the path, pulling the weeds out because the ground is so wet. I didn't need my trowel or anything, or my hori knife. Just pull, shake those roots, toss. So as I sat there, I sort of bent forward. At one point I sort of sat up slightly to toss the weeds into my trug, and I could feel myself slowly leaning, slowly, and then gathering momentum, just completely over and tipped off the stool. Yeah, that leg just completely snapped. I was laughing my head off, but there was no one around to share the laugh with. Never mind. But then, of course, I'm quite happy on the floor. I did quite a lot of work right down on the grass paths. But usually when I do that, I have my stool next to me so I can grab it to help push me back up. So of course, I'd fallen off the stool, laugh, like a turtle on my back. I sort of rolled over, went to grab the stool to push myself up, but of course... So I have no doubt that one of my family members will ask me, what would I like for Christmas? When they ask, I will say, I don't know how much that will pick up, but yeah, I mean, look, there we go. I'd like another gardening stool, please. On the word of Christmas, no, please don't send anything. Please, please, please. I have everything I need in my life, apart from a gardening stool, which I'm sure my mum would like to get for me, because she's always like, what do you need? What do you want? Because I think I'm really easy to buy gifts for, on the one hand. Books, bath bubbles, garden stuff. But on the other hand, I'm really difficult because someone will say to me, what would you like? And I'll say, nothing, don't need anything. Anyway, on subject of presents, not for me, I am going in the next couple of weeks or so to get round to something I've been talking about all year, but I thought now would be a really useful time. I'll need to make a bit of space in the shed. I'm going to do a couple of videos to cover literally all the tools and kit that I use. Literally everything, right down to pots, trays, what have you. So from the big tools right down to the little tools, and then all the different accessories. And at the end of that, I'm going to proceed to say what are my absolute must-haves, can't live without tools. The reason I thought it'd be quite a good idea to do it now is because I know a load of you are new gardeners this year, and some of you are going to have your first garden next year. So I thought it'd be a useful thing to do so that you can think, oh, yeah, I think I need that for my garden next year as well. Just a really simple kit, the basics, or if you've got all your basics, some of the other stuff that makes life a bit easier in the garden. And if I let you all know now about that, then if you are sort of being asked by your family, what would you like for Christmas? You can say, oh, I would really like such and such a thing. Because just to say, they're out here, it's reminding me. A lot of my tools, well, I'm thinking about my Hori knife and my Falco secateurs. They are really, really expensive. I think the secateurs cost anything between sort of £35 and £45. That's a huge amount of money. And, you know, if in your family you sort of say to each other, look, don't spend any more than £5 or £10 on me, please. Especially at the moment when, you know, the cost of living is getting higher and higher by the day. I think it's a great idea to sort of, you know, how lovely if all of your family if everyone in your family chips in £5 so that you can have something like the Falcos or the Hori knife. It's an original. There are loads of fakes and rip-offs, just bendy. I think they're about £30. So the knife and the secateurs between them, it's best part of £70. It's a huge amount of money. It's definitely a huge amount of money if you're buying them yourself. So I thought, yeah, let's do those videos, and then it might prompt you to think, oh yeah, I could do with such and such. I'll let the family know. Rather than being given tat for Christmas that you don't want, you don't need, and it ends up in the charity shop in a few weeks after Christmas. The thing about... Where is that? I'm getting oily hands. So the thing about the expensive stuff is, one of the reasons it's expensive is because it's good and it's going to last forever and ever and ever. So my lovely friend Jan, who bought these for me, she's a professional gardener. She's had hers for 30 years. How many of us have ever had a pair of secateurs that last 30 years? The great thing is we can care for these, service these, sharpen them, do everything ourselves. They're designed for us to be able to take them apart and do that. Might do the video on that as well. And even if you can't manage it yourself, you can send them back to Falco and they'll do the whole thing for you. They'll replace any parts that are worn out. You can buy all the parts as well, so that if you decide eventually that blade has had it, you can buy a new blade, for example. Anyway, this is not a paid promotion. It's just that thing of, I think, when you're buying tools, buy once and buy well. You buy cheap, you're going to buy twice, at least. That's a bit of a digression. Anyway, yeah, so I gave these a clean and a sharpen over the weekend, where I was kind of feeling I was feeling too lousy to come to the garden. And also at the weekend, it's so busy, I didn't want to pass my germs on to anyone. I can't just sit still when I'm at home. So I got these sorted. One of the first things I did this morning was go into the chickpea bed to chop a couple up to see how they're working. They're working a dream again. Right. I do apologise for sniffing and coughing. Let's go and see what lies beneath. What treasure can we find today? Arrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr wheelbarrow to put the harvest into. Don't know if it'll be wheelbarrow worthy. It's one of the joys of harvesting root crops, potatoes aren't a root crop, but you know, the parsnips and carrots, root crops, and potatoes is we just don't know what's down there until we try. So, oh, I didn't bring a bucket for me detritus. That's for perennial. I've got my metal bucket there. That's the one I always use for the perennial nasty weeds. So this variety is Cara. It's a main crop potato. Oh, I will of course bring you in closer to have a look. Arrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr much R'ing I'll be doing today. I don't know that it's going to be great for my throat. Gotta have a couple of R's though. Do you know, maybe not if it's going to make me cough. It's, do you know, that is quite surprising. It's really quite dry down here. And consider how much rain we've had. I mean, it's moist, but it's not absolutely sopping. I mean, that bodes well in terms of, is my soil getting better at draining? I mentioned the other day, I am going to talk about this in a separate video. I was thinking about staying behind after this to do it, but to be honest, I feel a bit yucky. I don't think I will, but I'm going to do a separate video about sorry, the whole sort of like crop and drop and covering and looking after my soil and how I'm trying to improve it over the years. Green manure, I'll be touching on green manure as well. But never mind all that. Arrrr. Stop R'ing, Vivi. They're such a lovely potato. They've got a slight little pink blush on parts of them. Very pretty. I'm going to talk more. Let me get them out because I think it's going to be a bit of an effort today. And then once I'm not making the effort, we can sit down and talk about varieties, curing, storage, etc., etc. I don't think there is one here, is there? No. Oh, sorry, worms. Right, let me... Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to be a bit huffy-puffy doing this today. Let me bring you in closer so you can see them as they're coming. Yay! So in the riddle so far, that's from 2 plants. I just chucked them in. I can't. I've got mud on my glasses. I just chucked them in the riddle as I'm pulling them out, just so any some of the soil can just drop off through the riddle before I transfer them. Oh, wheelbarrow's in my way. I'm not very with it today. Let's hoik that out the way there. Oh, blah. Some of them are quite little. Yeah, really quite little. I've had stonkers in the past where they've come out the size of my head. But actually, I don't really want them to be too big because, oh, is that greened a bit? That might have had a bit of exposure. Yeah, I'd rather have a number of smaller ones than just 2 or 3 massive ones, because I love these as a baker for baking. So I'd rather bake, a couple that size and enjoy them, rather than have one massive one that I have to cut in half, bake half of it, and then the next day use the rest up. Oh, and look, that is one squirrel that's going to be disappointed come springtime. Okay, let's just, whoopla. let's just get on and do, and then we can have our chat. You'll notice that the tops, the plant material, has thoroughly died back. Well, it hasn't died completely back. What I mean is, it's completely dried out and brittle. Hope you can hear that. Oh, looks like wireworm in that one. Or is it eelworm? I always get confused. Yeah, I'll talk about the foliage and this stage again when we're sitting and I'm not huffing and puffing. I don't know if you can get a sense through the camera of how this ground is definitely not sodden for once. Yay. The foliage, X marks the spot. More peanuts. Hello. Oh, you're a fruit. Oh, stones. Let's have you away. Let sleeping worms lie. Oh, now this one, annoying. There's I think you can see that, there's a bramble runner coming through from this blimmin' pesky hedge behind me. So, as I get the potatoes out, let's see if I can also harvest this runner, because I do not want to grow a bramble in this bed. I want to grow veggies. Actually, this bed is going to now be for garlic. Oh la la. Oh, it seems like quite an effort today. Let's get this non-treasure out. Oh, it's a thorny issue. Oh! You can have that back. Oops, I went down quite far then. Let me show you this. This is the lovely soil that the potatoes are in. It's becoming better and better by the year, obviously. This, I've gone a bit too far. That's literally a fork down. Can you see? That is clay. It's just solid clay, and that's why I try. You know, people say to me, go no dig. I'm not no dig, but I'm definitely not. I mean, I don't dig like double digging going right down there. I just fork in the top couple of inches these days because I don't want to bring this stuff up. I mean, it's great for nutrition, but let the plant's roots get down there if they want to. But yeah, like I said, I don't really want to be bringing that up onto the top of the soil and wrecking this structure that I have been building. Okay, let me get on with this other row. And then let's go and have a sit at the shed. Excuse me. Happy sight. Right. Good stuff. Let's have a sit down. Hoopla. Boof, I'll give you a quick look and then we'll have a sit and chat. Yay, that's a lovely little harvest. I'm chuffed with that. So you can see obviously there's a range of sizes. I think this is one of the bigger ones. Oh, that's plenty big. And amazingly, I didn't fork a single one. Woohoo! I think that's the first year ever that I haven't forked one. Oh, right, come on, let's have this sit. That took a bit more out of me than I was expecting. I'm obviously not quite better yet. Never mind. Yay, yay for getting that job done. That soil is, it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm not going to do anything else with it today. I was going to prep it for the garlic, but I can feel myself cold sweating. So I think it's probably a good idea to get this little harvest sorted out and get myself home. So I was talking a little bit about the foliage being dead, dying back. You can harvest your potatoes when the foliage is still green. Of course, you can have a little go down there if you're desperate for a spud. So sorry. The thing will be that when the foliage is still green, the skin of the potato is still quite fine and delicate. I always leave my main crop harvest until that foliage has died right back. Those stems are really dry and brittle, because as that's happening under the ground, this wonderful little magic trick is happening. These skins are getting thicker and toughening up. They're basically curing under the ground. The better cured they are, the longer they will store, the better they will store. So I'll have a look through all of them today. Any that have got little holes, maybe a little grub's got in there, I'll take those home, they will be used first. But essentially this skin is now its storage packet. Who needs cling film or plastic? Potato's got its own storage. And I was mentioning about using the riddle to just pop them into, so sort of loose soil can fall off. You can see there's still quite a bit of soil on there. Obviously there's not huge chunks, I've knocked those off, but at this stage I won't do any more to them. I will not be tempted to clean them, wash them, scrub them, anything. Because anything I do now, there's a chance I could damage that skin. That would be, you know, the equivalent would be of like accidentally piercing the plastic film that's covering the food, and, you know, then microbes can get in and spoil the harvest. So I would always say, when you get your spuds out, do not be tempted to wash them, scrub them, clean them. Don't be tempted to do anything. At this stage, well, if it was a nice warm sunny day, I would do what I've done in the past. I'd lay them all out on the table, let this slightly damp soil dry, and then put them in their sacks. It's not that kind of day to day, so I might just spread them out on the floor of the shed just so the soil can dry, and then pop back tomorrow and get them all put in sacks, keep them out of the light. But yeah, essentially that skin is the storage packet and we don't want to hurt it. This variety, I'm aware I've gone on one today, but so just to say very quickly, this is Cara. Can you see the little bits of pinky blush on there? Initially, when I first got the plot, I've tried maybe 4 or 5 different types of main crop, and right from the beginning I tried Cara too. These days I've only got space for that one bed of a main crop. I decided about 5-6 years ago maybe to just narrow it down to just one type in that bed, done. And I plumped for Cara because it's a really versatile potato. I love them baked. I love a baked spud. Oh, is there anything more comforting in the winter than a baked spud with a bit of cheese in it, or a knob of butter, or some beans, or whatever? So they're a beautiful baker, and you get lovely crunchy skins if you've given the skins long enough. If you harvest them when they're still green, when the foliage is still green, and bake them, you won't get quite as crunchy as skin. By this stage, certainly you will. So great baker. They make lovely chunky chips if you do your chunky chips in the oven, lovely roasties. You know, obviously I chop them up, smash them a bit, then roast them. Apparently, I've never tried it myself, for making traditional chips in a deep fat fryer. They work great for that. I've just realised, I don't think I've ever tried them as mash. I don't generally eat mashed potato. It's because I'm not a meat and 2 veg kind of girl, obviously. Anyway, so yeah, they're a nice versatile potato. Great, tick. But the main thing for me is, out of all the ones I've tried over the years, this one seems to store the best. I will probably eat them, get through them before there's a chance of them not storing. Where are we now? Beginning of October. October, November, December, January, February. Will they last me 5 months? They generally last me to just a little bit beyond Christmas. I'm not a huge potato eater, but now that they're out of the ground, I'm going to want one every day, every single day. And just on that point, actually, you know, in terms of if something hasn't grown, what will I do? I'll just do without, you know. I don't eat potatoes probably from about January right through till June, July. Then I get the first of my salad potatoes out and I enjoy them right up until now. Actually, I've got a load left at home still. So once the harvest runs out, you know, that's fine. I just eat different stuff. The only exception this year, I think, is going to be carrots. I think I will be buying some carrots because I love them, I'm missing them, and we all know what happened in my garden. Or we know what didn't happen. Okay, lovelies, I'm going to leave it there for now. It's so annoying, isn't it, getting a cold? Because it's really nothing, but it can just really flatten you a bit, can't it? But I'm really, really delighted I've come down here this morning to do this. There's a few bits and bobs I'm going to do now. Get the camera turned off, do my little bits and bobs, get myself home, and then I'm hoping to come back tomorrow for the best harvest of the year. I hope it's going to be. I'm hoping to get back to do the squash harvest. I know I've been talking about it for the last 2 weeks, haven't I? I'm so excited. I was just saying to one of my friends who's walking down the path as I was just beginning to set up this morning, and she said, "Oh, you're digging your potatoes out today?" It's like, yeah, it's my second favouriteest harvest ever. I love potatoes, carrots and parsnips because you never know what you're going to get. What's my third favourite harvest? It's probably tomatoes and beans. But my definite favourite harvest is the squash. We wait so long for it, don't we? Anyway, right, you're rambling, Vivi. Shut up, get on. Take care of yourselves, lovelies. I hope you're enjoying your harvests still too. And I'll see you again really soon for another harvest. Can't wait. Until then, take care, everyone.